What's going on, car guys and car gals? It's Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And it's Fred Lenart's subprime hero.
And the one, the only, Owen Mood. What's going on, brother?
What's up, guys?
Welcome, you and everybody to the very first of 2024 Fixed Ops Friday.
That's right.
We are so excited to have everybody jumping in, whether you're going to watch this on the replay or you're going to catch it live. We're telling you right now, we need you involved. So wherever it is that you are, we just happen to be in Miami. And I know Owen's up there in the cold. I'll be out there tomorrow.
Yeah, coming to Iowa, huh?
Yeah, coming to Iowa. Get to see my son.
Love it.
Excited about that. But, man, no matter where it is that you are, go ahead and get ready for a hot piping cup of some of that Fixed Ops brew that is going to be super, super special for you. We got a subject that we haven't really participated here on the show before, and we're excited about it because, quite frankly, I get a whole lot of mail concerning it. You know what I mean? When the more cars you get, the more cars you own over time, the more notices you get.
You even get the notices when you don't own the car anymore. So, you know, that happens.
That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah. But we are excited to see everybody in here. Thomas Ping is already up in here saying, What up,
Thomas?
We got Jordan Cox.
What up,
getting
bro?
things going. Yes, that's right. We are.
Over Sodu crew over there.
And we got a Facebook user saying,
yo, what up?
Heck yeah, we're
That's got to be Brian.
There's so many great shows, folks. Fixed Ops Friday's been running now for well over a year, and this show's, almost 2 years now, and this show has really brought on a lot of amazing guests, and today is no less than that. It's another amazing guest that we're excited to talk about what he does, what he's doing, and what's happening in today's market. I'm excited. I know Owen is. Owen was really excited when he sent me the information. Hey, this is what I got for the 19th, and I was like, fantastic. So excited. There's been a shift in their company name. There's so many things that we get to talk about today and the reasons behind it. So I'm pumped up, Lou.
There's a lot that's shaken up, and we're excited about it. But Owen, what is it that you went through when considering who it is that we get the chance to kick off 2024 with? How did we come to the special guest that we have here today?
Well, I think what ends up happening a lot of times is, fixed operations is such a massive animal, right? There's so many different pieces of it. There's so many different profit centers. There's a lot that you can just, we could go on this show and talk for 24 hours and never hit the same subject twice. So I've tried to be very specific with our guests, and this one's no different. I think that this guy has a lot of knowledge in this particular area. And I noticed that more and more OEMs are having these problems, and so, consumers obviously, it is something that they're having to deal with. And I just think, I think at the end of the day, just to kind of shed light to other areas of the fixed operations department is big. And so I think this topic today kind of fits right into where we're at as we're moving into 2024. And not only from a consumer standpoint, but obviously, why we're here today. And that's what opportunities do we have for dealers to get better, make more money, and to really give their consumers, that great experience when they get to the service lane. And I think the more we can shed light on what's actually happening in these different areas, we can definitely make a difference. And so yeah, let's bring him on. Let's get started with this thing.
Well, let's get him out here. So Facebook user was our friend James Bernard. So
hey, James.
Inside of the heart that you have for this incredible industry, we got to go ahead and call the Solutionary out here and just say, Solutionaries, mount up. So let's welcome in the one, the only, Stephen
Granger.
Hey.
Yo, brother. How are you?
Guys. Wow, that was a big intro.
Buddy?
Much. Yeah.
The cup's come in bigger sizes. We promise you.
All right.
All right. We're not done getting you pumped up about really just you being bringing a solution to the market and helping out in a tremendous way. And we're just really here to make sure the whole world knows about it, or at least a little pocket of people that we can influence a little bit. But Stephen, where are you at? Tell us a little bit about you and Dealer Recall Solutions.
Yeah. So I have been in the auto industry for, I hate to say it, when I say it out loud, I feel really old, but almost 25 years now. And I got into it in, like most people, I think, in our space, where I wasn't planning on becoming a car salesperson, but I was a recruiter. The .com bubble burst. I needed a job. I love cars. And specifically at that time, I was really big into Audis. And my ex-wife's like, she's looking in the paper. That's how long ago it was. She was looking for jobs. Like, Audi needs a salesperson. And it's really a kind of a funny story because the guy that I ended up going and working for, we're very close friends. And he told me later, because I was telling him, like, man, I was really worried when I pulled up. He was like, bro, you pulled up in a TT and you had a resume. Like, we don't get that.
You were good. You were in.
Yeah. 100% you were in.
Yeah. And so I did the car sales for about 6-8 months and realized it was the hardest job on the planet. And I was not very good at it. But I still love the car business. And so try to figure out ways that I could be involved in the space and work for Auto Trader magazine. That's, again, how long ago it is. Cars.com. And then I was one of the first dealer-facing people at Carfax. So handled large dealer groups for them and then worked there for 12 years. And during that time, one of my roles was best practice consultant. And that's where kind of the germ of the recall idea came from for me, is when the Takata, actually it was way before Takata, it was some weird recall on Fords that they replaced a transaxle and a dealership made like $4,000. And I remember we were at a Ford store in Ohio, and the guy was like, can you help us figure out where we can find these? And I was like, oh, hey, maybe this is an idea. And at the time, Carfax had this really very rudimentary listing site that like nobody knew about. But if you ran a Carfax report, it would put a listing up, and it was just a text listing, no pictures, anything. And so we talked to him about like, well, you could set up an alarm. You know what kind of cars have the recall, and it'll ping you when one's listed for sale. And initially, that was kind of the vision I had for a company. And it started, the name of the company originally was called Recall Rabbit. And the idea came from that. Plus, I was the digital manager at a 7-store group here in Austin. And it was right when Takata came out. And the guy who sat next to me was the service BDC director. And he kept calling people every day. Hey, Bob, I know you've probably seen the news about the airbag issue. We want to take care of you. We don't have thousands of airbags sitting here, but now I've talked to you. I'm going to order you one. And when it comes in, we'll get you taken care of and get you in and get it. And then fast forward, the bad part would come in. He would call somebody and be like, hey, Bob, great news. We got the airbag. Oh, okay. Yeah, no big deal. I'll give you a call later. And I finally, after hearing this probably 150 times, I walked over and I was like, are you telling someone that we will fix their car for free and potentially save their life if they get in an accident? And they're telling you no? And he's like, yeah, it happens all the time. And I was like, okay, there's something going on here. And then I started doing some digging and realized how big an issue recalls really are in our space. And that there isn't really a good way for dealers to connect with consumers and other dealers and try and connect those dots and get people in and get them fixed. And so fast forward, built an initial MVP, launched that in a minimal viable product. Sorry, I forget I'm on the techie side and auto side of the world. Back in before 2020, January 2020, I decided to quit my day job and start full-time on Recall Rabbit, trying to drive business to dealerships. Not on paper the best time to do your startup, right at the start of COVID and world pandemic. But it was actually kind of a cool experience for us because what the tool originally did was connect dealers to help them solve recalls on used inventory, right? So if I'm a Honda store, we would tell them all the Hondas that were sitting around them for sale that had recalls on them. And then they would connect, get them in, get them fixed. Nobody has to pay for it. It helps the dealer who's selling the car have a better inventory piece to sell. It was kind of a cool idea at the time. And we had some dealers at the time, if we go in the Wayback Machine, tell us that, they weren't able to be selling cars. They could service, but people were afraid they were going to die if they brought their car in to get their oil changed because nobody knew, right? Like if I touch the car and you touch the car, am I going to get COVID? So there were some dealers we had at the time that were like, this is literally the only way we're making money right now. is by getting these cars from other dealers.
These recalls.
Yeah. And so, like I said, I started digging, and it's a really big number. And I think a lot of people are surprised. It's depending on the study you find, anywhere between 1 in 4 and 1 in 5 cars at any time in the United States has a recall. So between 55 to 60 million cars.
Why do you think, so a quick question on that. Why do you think it has, grown so much? I mean, here's the thing. It's like, we heard about recalls. I mean, growing up, early adulthood, you got a recall here, recall there. It was like, oh man, what they do, they use a bad part. Did they get, it's like, now I feel like it's almost like the OEMs are like, well, it might not be as good of a part, but we're going to just throw it in there and we'll deal with the aftermath. What do you think changed in the philosophy to be where we're at today, where you got millions of vehicles that are on the road
every day? Like, I have Google alerts set up, and I'm blown away by the number. Every day I get an alert that says 700,000 cars, right? And I wondered the same thing, right? And so I asked a lot of our customers, why do they think it, right? People have been in the space for a long time. And kind of the common answer I've gotten, Owen, and I don't know how good I feel about this as a consumer, but if you think about in the way gone days, it would take forever to get a car to market, right? It may be 7, 8, 10 years from when the idea comes up and they start to work on it. And they've sped that process up. And part of what has kind of gone by the wayside in that speeding up is the testing, right? And so unfortunately, what ends up happening, this is again what I've been told, this isn't the Bible, but is that we're kind of the guinea pigs. They get the product out, not assuming there are going to be problems or knowing there are going to be problems, but that's what happens because they haven't had the rigorous testing that they may have had in the past, where almost overkill on testing of vehicles. And I think that's really the biggest piece that I've heard, right? I think also there's so much more technology inside cars. There's just a lot of other crap to break and not work right,
100%.
Like a big one, there was a couple years ago, kind of, we have grown beyond that initial product from customer interaction, customers coming to us and asking us for help. And one specific thing that kind of sparked where we are today and the change in the name of the company is about 3 or 4 years ago, Honda had a big recall. And this is just to give you an idea of that, right? And it was on the infotainment system and just the connectedness of the car. So it was the infotainment system on the Honda Odyssey. And there was something where they had to reprogram it. And it took a machine that's like the size of my desk, that they gave every Honda store one of these machines. And if you needed a second one because you have so many bays, it was like $30,000 or something like that. And what would happen, and the reason it was so scary to Honda and consumers, is that if you did it improperly, because the infotainment system was connected to the digital dashboard, it would fry the dashboard, and then you would have a mileage issue on that car. All of a sudden, the mileage wouldn't be correct, and you.
So one thing led to other things, other issues.
Yeah. So it just shows the connectedness of everything that's going on, and if something goes wrong, they have to fix it so that it gets fixed for the whole thing. So
right.
Goodness,
so much.
The understanding of the exposure we do get to have to our customer after the fact is a pretty important piece.
Yeah.
Inside of the recall, recall process. I really would wonder, what would the stats look like? What are the numbers, or are there any studies? Does anybody know how many first-time visits to a franchise dealer or an OEM dealer is because of?
Yeah, I don't know that number, but that would
be a great one.
That's a great number, and it's also one of the things I think it's a great tool for dealers. I know a lot of times there's this kind of negative perception of recalls inside the fixed ops world from the dealer space. And it's understandable because some of them are worth not very much money. It's kind of a pain. Like you guys said, you've gotten mailers and flyers, which on one side makes me sad, but also makes me happy because hopefully we can find you and get you in. But if you take a step back and think about most communication from a dealer to a consumer, or when a consumer is dealing with the fix op side of the dealership, right? It's a negative experience, not because of the engagement with the dealer, just because what's going on. Your car, second most expensive thing you own, is broken, right? And so you're already like, oh man, it's not working right. I got to go see the dealer. You pull into the dealer, and dealers have done a great job of trying to make their environments friendly and great for customers. But when you take a step back and you think about it, there's this giant overhang. There's 20 people, 40 cars. As a consumer, you're pulling in there like, oh man, and you're already kind of worried, like my car's jacked up. I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know if they tell me it's right or wrong, right? Or if the outreach you're sending is about a special or something like that, like consumers aren't really excited about coming to a car dealership to get their car fixed, right? Well, if you think about the message that you send a consumer, if you're messaging about recalls, it's not a message of come in, we want to take money from you. It's we're going to fix this for free. We care about you and your family in your vehicle. We want to help you. It's a great opportunity to get that customer in. Like you said, I mean, maybe not the first time, but maybe it's a long-time customer that hasn't come in for a while, right? It's a great tool to engage your customer base, even if it may not be a lot of money, and there are a lot of recalls that are a lot of money, but even if it's a small amount, if you're using that as a tool to generate engagement with the customer, you think about that feeling that they get when they come to the dealership, right? I'm positive because my service advisor reached out to me because they're concerned about my family and my minivan and the airbag, and I want to make sure my kids are safe, right? And what we found across the board with our customers is that typically when someone is messaging about recalls, and that's why they come in, customer pay above and beyond that is typically from our customer base about 75% above the warranty work, right? So if the recall's $1,000, what we see is typically that consumer is then spending an additional $750 with that dealership for that RO. And
you build trust. You
gave
something to them that they didn't even realize. They get the recall because you sent the letter out, you sent the message out, you reached out to them. They didn't get it from the manufacturer. They didn't have to find out for themselves.
Yeah.
You offered a free service to make sure that they're taking care of them and their family. Where else do they get their money? With people they trust. And
right.
Well, and they should still be doing the MPI, right? They should be still in that inspection. They're still going to be like going, hey, well, I got you. Let's just go through that normal, everyday process. And now that's when you do make those recommendations. They actually believe them and they say, oh, okay, this is what I need. The MPI is right. It's whether or not the customer believes that it's worth it to them to fix it today. And if they're coming in and not getting charged for that recall, maybe there's money in their pocket to take care of a couple other things. And you're proving that with some of your data there.
Yeah. It's a great opportunity. And I think even if worst case scenario, you just fix the recall, right? And it's $150. Your point is exactly right. And this is what I kind of harp on with our customers. If you get 150 of those people in, that's 150 MPIs that now your BDC can reach out to those people. When you do talk to them, what they have in their mind is, oh, the last time I went to the dealership, they helped me, right? So it's a great tool for engaging customers.
Especially because the majority, all of these customers are not going to those third parties to go get a recall handled.
Yes, because they can't.
Yeah.
Where most of them, whether they purchased it new or they purchased it used and never established a relationship with a franchise, they are taking care of their car with the third parties up and down the block.
Yeah.
When they get the chance to, if it's presented right, receive great news. We have a fix for your vehicle. We have it's an upgrade for your vehicle to be optimized, to work more to factory specifications, just like us on our iPhone. How often do we get upset when we say, hey, there's going to be an update? Well, yeah, there's an update, but it's because they're fixing
it's a recall
issues that are happening.
What it is.
You know what I mean?
It is.
That's what we're going.
And I think
maybe we need to change it and call it an update. I like it. Get rid of recall. Yeah.
I like that language.
I agree.
Adjustment.
I do. I agree. You know, and Jeff said it good. Be proactive. Use proactive communication instead of reactive. That's the whole idea of everything that we do, my friends. Felicia, she says, yes, this is what I've been preaching to the service BDC and the advisors. Amen to that. Yeah. Jeff said this earlier. The customer already has pain. You're 100% right. So before they even show up, so what do? We build trust by taking away as much of that pain as possible. Yeah. Debbie Waynes came in here and said, hello. What's up? Thank you so much for joining us. So this is some really good stuff, my friends. And I think that everybody who's on the show watching it right now live, they all agree. They get this. This is, to me, it should be a no-brainer. That's why it's so crazy that a business like yours, a company like yours, is kind of like breaking ground. This is something that should have been done a long time ago. So I'm so glad that you guys are out there making this happen right now for so many dealers and for the industry and for clients. More importantly, for the people who are owning these vehicles, which are the dealership employees in a lot of cases, which are, their family members, right? So it's important that we have all these types of things put in place to build more trust, and makes it so simple. It's just data. It's data that we use that send out information to be able to get them to come in and share and help. So.
Well, and let's be honest, we've had some data come out recently that from 21 to 23, we've actually lost market share to the independents, right? So we're still fighting that game of convenience, of price. And so if really one of the few things that we still have in our bag that they don't is recalls. So why are dealerships not embracing it? Well, is it a pain in the ass to get paid? Is there, there might be few things that it's a different process than customer pay. There's probably some things there that are, they're relevant. But at the end of the day, if I really want to grow market share, to Stephen's point, if I get 150 people in to fix something that I know the OEM's going to reimburse me for, I think what ends up happening in a lot of cases that, maybe not so much as we move forward here, but in the past it was like, okay, we got that fixed. Let's just get on to the next appointment, right? Where it needs to be part of a bigger strategy. Like, hey, let's reach out to that person. Let's give them a coupon to come in now and get an oil change done at maybe at a cheaper price, and say, hey, this is a second touch point and this is a third touch point. And before you know it, that customer only thinks of you when it comes to that solution. But if you just let them come in and get the recall, shake their hand, wave at them, and they're off, you've done yourself no good in the future.
Nothing. You literally have done nothing with it. Activity breeds activity, right? And that's the whole point, is activity keeps everyone busy, keeps everybody happy, keeps clients coming inside your place of business. We lost some market share between 21 and 23. There's no doubt. We were selling cars for twice the price that they were. We were not caring about any service at all. And that's such a pain, because that was such an opportunity during that time to do the complete opposite. There's a lot more trust inside that and gain more market share inside our service departments, which our service departments are above, beyond any, to me, most of those independents out there. They have better service techs. They have everything that you can imagine. It's just the problem is that majority of them don't know how to market that. They don't know how to do those things. That's why companies like Fix Ops Digital and Dealer Recall Solutions are out there to help you guys do that. Fix Ops Digital, trade pending. Sorry. You know what I mean? Like, it's so important that people go out to understand. And I think that dealers, if you're watching this right now, I'm telling you, start looking at those recalls, start finding solutions for that. And reach out to Stephen, have a conversation with him. I promise you, he'll be happy to give you as much information that he can to be able to help you get to the level. And
sure, even if you don't work with somebody like us or Recall Masters or there are other players in space, like Owen said a great thing, like, it's a process. I can't tell you how many stores we've worked with where we send them, because we can see which customers went in by their VIN, right? And we see at the end of the month that, like, we sent them in for the recall and they didn't even fix it. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Right? Like, that because of their own internal process, when they get there, they don't have a way to look up the recalls or whatever that is. It's a piece of the puzzle. I mentioned I was a recruiter and I worked for an agency in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we were one of a giant company that had 48 locations, and we made more money at our one place than all 48 other combined. And my boss was brilliant, and he said something to me one time, because I worked on something that it wasn't software related, so it was a smaller dollar amount for the branch, and I always had kind of a chip on my shoulder. And one day he pulls me aside and he's like, Stephen, when you go to the liquor store, they don't just sell champagne, they sell chiclets. You know why they sell chiclets? Because they make money on the chiclets, right? You are the chiclets of our company. And I'm so glad we have them, because when somebody walks out with the champagne, they grab a chiclet, right? Like, and the recalls is kind of that same piece. Maybe it isn't a huge home run on the recall itself, but the periphery stuff, the MPI, the great experience, now you see what a dealership is really like instead of what you think in your brain dealing with a dealership is like, versus Jiffy Lube or Meineke or Firestone, whoever you pass to come to the dealership, because they can't work on the recall. You can. This is a great chance for you to take that and run with that customer, right? The other thing that we see too is it's a great way to engage older customers and bring them back in, because if you've got a 5-year-old car, you're probably not going to the dealership to get your oil change, even though, to your point, the tech's probably better than the other place. I just changed my oil somewhere because I had to, and they screwed it up. I ended up taking it back to a dealership because they didn't do it right. You never have to have that worry.
Because them don't have CSI scores. Them independents don't have to worry about what their customers think. They just deal with the local manager, right? And that's a whole different level. There's so much.
We had one Honda store that, after 7-8 months of running with us, he reached out to me and he's like, I gotta thank you. I won an award and I didn't know how I won it for his region. And I was like, what are you talking about? And it was, I guess there's some sort of review that they have for age of customer brands, right? Like 2 to 3 years, whatever it was. And he had more than anybody else in the region in this older band, and he could not figure out where they were coming. He's like, how am I getting these 8-year-old customers? And when he started doing the digging, he was like, it's because we're messaging about recalls. They're re-engaging. We're doing a great job. We get their trade, right? Like, there's so many periphery things that can happen with this. Just, again, it's a positive message. We want to help you. Come on into the dealership. I mean, how many times are you looking for good used CPO cars, right?
I think of it as sales, man. Conversation creates car deals. And every bit, like the trust, the build, them coming back to the store, that makes them even more confident in the front side of the house, right? Where the people are. So it's like all that stuff works together. This is a team effort. And when you can have this running as an owner, and this is why owners need to think of it as more. This isn't just service. This is your business. This is your business. This is your
great stories. Like, we have 2 that I can just think of on the top of my head. So we work with a great store in the Chicago area, and we help them message. It was not technically a recall. It was something with a transmission on a Honda that if there was something wrong with it, Honda would replace it. And so we messaged all the customers that had this, and it was during the Thanksgiving holiday, and a woman came in, and it was an older, I think CRV or something, and they ended up replacing it. And she was blown away because she was like, I could have been driving. She had a big trip. She was going away on Thanksgiving to her family, a couple 100 miles away. She's like, if it would have gone out, I would have gone to a transmission shop. They would have probably fixed it. I would have never known that it was going to be replaced at no charge to me. And the same thing happened with the same kind of recall here. I live in Austin. We have a great customer here, Honda store. We sent the message. The guy called the dealership and told them to stop sending them the message. Mm-hmm. And the guy, he's like, I've gotten this message 2 or 3 times. I've taken it to a local transmission shop. They're about to repair it and replace it. And our customer's like, whoa, stop. I will send a tow truck to that place, pick your car up, and we will replace the transmission at no charge. And the guy was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, that's what this recall is your transmission needs to be replaced. We will replace it at no charge. And he did. And the guy's like, I can only imagine. I mean, that's the thing. You think about that. Like, think about the next time that guy talks to somebody who says, I'm looking for a car.
He is loyal for life.
Yes.
Loyal for life.
Yeah. But he started from a perspective, you guys are trying to trick me. You're trying to get me in. Right?
Which is essentially what it is that we're trying to break down is that giant wall of mistrust that the customer has with the big bad car dealer that's inside of our community and trying to get us for every dollar for their big, beautiful buildings or their big, beautiful displays. The customer doesn't recognize that all of that awesomeness is for them and it is them, and that they get that with the product that they purchased from the dealership. And if it's approached properly, then the customer should recognize this as great news. And like we were saying earlier, as the update, because to your chiclet point, the product placement inside of your local convenience store isn't by happenstance. It's designed to make you grab and pull and pay for products that were never on your initial list of I need to get. And just them being placed there, them being you being aware of them there makes it possible that you could take a bite of the apple another time. And yes, inside of the sales department, goodness, what if we took it that seriously that a person is potentially becoming another client of our organization? Let's get some of the people that can best describe what it's like doing business with us to say hello on one of those appointments, to take a Ford tour. Let's do the service walk and the sales walk. Let's reverse how it is that we present our dealers. If the first glance we have from the store isn't them kicking a tire, but them saying, hey, something's broken. You guys said you're going to fix it for free. Is that for real? And somebody says, yes, absolutely. That's awesome. You're getting such and such upgraded. People have been so happy with this upgrade. Let me show you around a little bit while they take care of that. Let me get you your coffee. Let me show you what it is that you get with being here with us. If we were alerted to them coming to our magnificence for the first time, let's give them the experience. Let's show them what we have. And to your point, Owen, yes, you're coming in. Well, while you're coming in for this recall, here's your coupon for your oil change, because you're going to have to do that. And even if you don't come get it during the time that you're here, well, you got the coupon. We want to see you again. We want to be givers. And that's the shift that has to happen inside of our industry, is that the consumer has to recognize they get more with us. They get more because they're engulfed inside of our actual flow, rather than being another transaction that might be a little bit cheaper, but is cheaper. It's cheaper in relationship. Those show me your richest person will show you the ones with the most rich relationships. And those are, that really is what a customer does want. We all want it. We're all still customers first, right?
Well,
go ahead.
It's a fine line too, because you have to take them off the recall because into other areas of the business, because the challenge is if it's already not a great situation for the customer. And honestly, I think is also, I mean, we're looking at this as an opportunity, right? And how much dealerships can, additionally make additional revenue and things like that. But it is a fine line, because you don't want to be known, I hate to throw Kia out there, but what is Kia known for right now, right? They're
engines.
I mean, you start becoming that kind of a company where it's like, oh, every time I think of that brand, all I think about is that issue that's gone global. So I think a couple things have to happen there. You have to be forthright with the customer. You have to be upfront. You got to make sure they understand that this is something that is going to, once we get this done, this vehicle is still going to be the reason why you bought it. And then ultimately, to your point, dealerships look at that ABC or Mr. Jones, on the name of the business as that brand. So let's take their mind off of the recall that's being done, and let's get them involved with other areas of the store. And so that way, it's kind of a positioning, I think, opportunity for you as well, while you're still doing that recall. Because the last thing you want them to do is sit there and watch them with your car up on the lift and watch them pulling that thing out and working on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just constant reinforcement on, God, I hate this vehicle. It just always has problems and I got to recall it. Let's move them away from that. And let's by the end of it, like, hey, we took care of that. Look at that's that beautiful brand new vehicle that you bought 6 months ago that you fell in love with. And now you've gotten a whole nother aspect of what our dealership can bring you, not only from a service standpoint, but someone brought it up there. What happens when it becomes another opportunity to sell a car, right? Now you want to be that answer for them.
And that's exactly the cycle that we're looking for. And that's what these recalls can do for you all dealers and for you sales pros and for you service reps, everybody. This is a great opportunity to build more relationships. When you're putting the relationships above your revenue, you're always going to do way better than everyone around you. If you put people over your profits, I'm telling you, the profits will come. They just do. If you just, it's everybody doing it together, right? It's everybody making sure that they don't just come in for a recall, we fix it, that we're giving them service while they're there, that we're going to that next level, showing them why we believe our service department is the best in the area, or whatever we want to say that it is, right? Be that. and just be that dealer, be that person who's out there giving people what they need, and that's help. And when you can help people, they're going to come to you when it's time for them when they need the help, and they don't need to ask, they just want to ask for it instead of just being told to come get it. So I love this conversation, friends and family and everyone out there, Solutionaries. This has been a great one today. Stephen, you've crushed it today with this recall stuff.
Thanks, brother.
Obviously, you know what you're talking about. We appreciate you sharing that with our network. I know Owen was super excited to have you on the show, and I see why now, and I can't wait to see what else happens. You're going to be at NADA?
I'm still planning. The plan is yes, no booth, but I'll be there. Yeah.
What's the easiest way for everybody to get a hold of you? I got your website running at the bottom.
Yeah. Either that or you ping me on my mobile. It's 512-663-4544. So yeah.
Pick up the phone, folks. Reach out to him. He's happy to help. He has solutions for you and your recalls. I'm telling you, it'll make all the difference. It'll build better relationships inside your store, and it'll keep your people busy and opportunities for them. So it's all big, giant life cycle. I love it.
Owen, you have anything else for Stephen before we get ready to forgive, focus, fly out of here?
Yeah, nothing really, just a great conversation today, obviously, kind of getting into the trenches. We kind of talked prior to jumping on here that, we could sit here and talk about a lot of these different profit centers and different areas of the fixed operations departments for hours, right? And so, unfortunately, you have to, thanks, Jason, you have to look at recalls as just that, an opportunity to not only gain revenue today, which obviously is good because the OEM is covering that, but how do you use it to advance your mission with your customers, through regular maintenance, through, that next vehicle purchase, things like that. And I think that's the part that's tough for some, especially on the service side. We're so busy. We don't think like that, right? Service marketers are not, or service department, service directors, not necessarily marketers and that type of thing. So bring in your digital team, bring in your agency, bring in your marketing team and say, hey, I've got this little niche thing going on right now. It's not positive. I'm going to spin it, turn it so it's positive. But what else can I do off it? Like, let's get everybody in the room talking, and let's come up with some really, really solid strategies that are going to help, kind of compound on top of each other. And I think that's the thing I like to, really think about outside the box on when I'm working on stuff like this. And Stephen's been a great partner of ours. We really, love that he brings us a lot of great data when it comes to, which vehicles out there have recalls and things like that. And I know he's a growing company, so I wanted to make sure that we gave him a little highlight today. And I knew Steve would come with some great info, and I think he did. So with that, Stephen, thank you so much. Any last thoughts on your end? Sorry, sir.
Yeah, no, I would say, like I said earlier, even if you don't use us, start thinking about it and come up with a process at the store of how you help customers get recalls fixed.
Yeah. Well, Stephen, there's not too often on the Fixed Ops Friday have we had some announcement of our validity to what it is that you're bringing to the industry. But we're going to have to go ahead and drop out there that Dealer Recall Solutions is 100% CGC approved.
All right.
Everybody, now go ahead and give him a shout. Let him know where it is that you need help at. But Stephen, it is a conversation that can continue to go on. The concept behind why it is so important that we do this is critical. Thank you so much. What's going on, Eric Hinkle? Good
what's
to
up,
see
bro?
you, brother. Good to see you, Jason. Happy that everybody has been joining us in here. This has been the first Fixed Ops Friday for the year 2024. Wow. And we are excited to bring you a whole lot more. We are pumped up to be part of the solution here in the industry, especially inside of this fixed ops niche, folks. There is so much to learn, so much growing to do. And inside of that, we got to drop those F-bombs so we can keep doing it too.
Hey, real quick, guys, special edition next week, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
The NADA, all my new friends at Trade Pending is going to be joining us. So I'm super excited to
show 26. Yes. Be looking for it. I'll be having a promo come out on the next couple of days. It's going to be an amazing show. We're going to be talking about what to do, what to see, and what's happening at NADA, and what's happening with Trade Pending right now, because there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm excited to have them on the show too, because I'm telling you that the buzz about what's happening with all of the companies just combining to form Voltron. I'm telling you, I love it. So it's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. Can't wait.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. So I think everybody on this show next week has not been on the show the show before. So
boom,
super excited for that. Yeah, so. I thought I'd give ourselves a shameless plug there. So
no shame here,
No
baby.
shame on our
plug
show.
the Plug City.
Yeah.
I mean, we got all kinds of outlets to keep plugging. We are excited to do what it is that we do, but let's get ready to forget Focus Fly, everybody. Thank you,
right.
Brian Ortega. We see you out there, brother. Thank you for jumping in, and everybody else that is brewing solutions with us. Let's forget Focus Fly. So, Stephen, go ahead and help us out. Hands on the shoulders. On
Here we
3.
go.
1, 2, 3.
Forget.
Focus.
Right. Whoa.
Fly. And keep growing.
That's right,
Love
everybody.
it.
Ramirez, the car guy.
And I'm Frelin Arts, subprime hero.
And you've been brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast for Fixed Ops Friday with the one, the only Owen Moon, and our special guest, Stephen
Granger.
That's right, everybody. We will see you soon. Keep brewing solutions. We're out.
Peace.